in your, over 20 years of, being in IT and consulting and project management and program management and business analysis, what are the lessons you've learned so far, in your experience that you would like to share with, this up and coming and young people like us that are trying to, to get there, to be there? What would be your advice for a lot of us listening to you?
One is, I'll say, don't promise much more than you can deliver. On the promise and over deliver. That way you build reputation, and at the same time, I'll say, trust yourself, trust your guts, be willing to make mistakes, and learn from your mistakes. Be willing to make, mistakes that you can recover from. Don't make a mistake that's going to take somebody's life, please. You will meet different kinds of people, along your journey. You will meet good people, you will meet bad people. Do not allow people to draw you down. Be able to focus on what you want to achieve. That this is my future. Like I said about myself, I stumbled into it. It wasn't like a deliberate decision by me. I was, it wasn't totally my decision, but at the same time I have come to love it. I mean, like, I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah,
So I've come to love and appreciate it. So you have to be passionate about it. You have to
exactly.
carry the passion, through. When you are in your low moments, so there's going to be low moments. There's going to be project failures. There's going to be challenges along the line, but you just have to keep encouraging yourself. Yeah, and as you grow in your career, be willing to delegate. Delegation means that you're freeing yourself, for some more bigger roles. Be a
Mm,
team player, be a team builder, learn from people and be able to be willing to share your own experience as well. This is what I learned. There's no need covering up and say, "Oh, I know this much, so I'm the star of the team." You don't need it. Spread the knowledge, and gain knowledge from other people. And finally, I would say, be a problem solver, be proactive. Uh, look at anything that comes your way. Look at it as this is an opportunity to become better. Don't run away from problems. Be willing to solve
exactly.
problems.
I want to move into project management or BA, and I didn't study computer science. I haven't written a line of code in my life. I don't know what that black screen looks like. How can I step into this field? How can I still get into tech?
I I dare say, with all sense of responsibility, that you can absolutely, absolutely do it. In the field of computer science, there are different roles. There's the role of the developer. You're not looking to becoming a developer. You want to be a BA. So the developer writes the problem, writes the code. You help the developer understand what the problem is. So you're the one liaising, with human beings. You're talking to people to understand what is the problem here. You don't have to pull the problem, from thin air. You're talking to people and asking them, what is the problem? How do you see us solving this problem? So you're looking and say, this is the current issue that they have, you know, and based on the analysis. So everything in business analysis is English language. You don't have to learn any computer language. You don't have to learn any computer program. It is good if you understand how the program works. And it's simply, computer works to help solve problems. So you don't have to understand how the back end or the code is written. I'm saying, just looking at, say, okay, this is like, I enter, and I save. When I save, the program will run it and it will spit out this result. So that's what you want to understand. That's what I'm saying, that you want to understand, in a program. You don't need to understand how it adds, how the program will add 1 plus 1 and then multiply it by 1,000. No, don't bother yourself with that. You don't need it. Understand how to talk to people, pull out the requirements. What do you need to get done? Pull it out from them. Go back, do your analysis, which is in English language. Do your analysis based on all these requirements, this and this and this. Put it before them and say, This is a proposed future state that I see." They will tell you, "No, this one will not work. This one, we tried it before. This one will not work." And you would use their brain, in conjunction with your subject matter experts.
Yeah.
You would use them to come up with a solution. And then, if it is a computer required solution that is needed, you pass it on, to what is called the architect. The architect will map it out in a way that the developer would understand. So there are different kinds of people involved in the food chain. So your lane is business analysis or project manager. Stay in that lane and be a
Mhm.
master of business analysis, be a master of project management, and you will do well.
Now, something I want to share is that one, you're someone who's been a continuous learner. You've been in this game for a long time, but however, you continuously improve yourself. With certifications, you have 2 master's degree. You love learning. And I tell people that, one of the pillars of success, regardless, well, I tell people in my business analysis coaching course, but I tell people I come across with that. You need to be a constant learner. You need to keep learning and improving yourself. If not, you become a dinosaur,
That's
right?
right.
So you need to keep learning and improving yourself. So how have you stayed committed to continuously learning and improving yourself, even with all the experience and knowledge you have? You're continuously doing something. You're sometimes I find your profile intimidating, but how are you able to continue with that while still managing all these projects that you do?
I would say God. you know and I mean, I don't know the kind of audience that you have, but I mean, that's really, really true for me. In my background, like, I would say that I'm not deserving of anything and everything that God has done for me. So I mean, so that's my number one pillar. um uh, Based on that, like, if I have God, like, I think that I have everything. So if I have everything, what is it that can help me, to get everything? It's knowledge.
Yeah.
And how do I get this knowledge? It is knowledge that some other people have. Some other people have put in books. Some other people have gone through. So why won't I learn from them? That why do I have to reinvent the wheel? Somebody has thought of a solution, has put it in a book, and say, this is a better way than what you're doing. So I say to myself, if there's a better way that's being developed, why do I have to keep doing it the way I learned it in 1992, for example? And just like you said, if I don't want to remain, or stuck in my 1992 level of education, I just have to keep, learning and, seeking knowledge. So knowledge is always improving. There's more knowledge today.
So something I want to share is a lot of people do not know is that he's also the pastor of a church here in Calgary. So he's the pastor of the church at Trem Calgary here in here in Canada, in Alberta. So Trem is the Redeemed Evangelical Mission, with the headquarters in Nigeria, in Bagada, Nigeria.
That's right.
So he's also my pastor. So when you have someone like this, also leading and praying for you, you know that you can achieve it, you can do it, right? He's been very supportive in my journey here in Canada. So how are you able to cope with this? You work, you work, you're a father, you're a husband, and you lead, in the church as well. So, you lead the projects in the church, you lead the church as a whole. How are you able to, combine all this time? And, you're a man of faith, you believe in God. I'm also a woman of faith. I believe in God. Everything I have is through God and my Lord and my Father, Jesus Christ. How are you able to, combine all this?
Truly, truly, it is God. Yeah, that's. I mean, you can't take that away. And yes, and for the people that say, yes, I know God, but I still am struggling, to say that what is important to you. If this is important to you, so first is, yes, you have God. That's your number one. And I would never recommend that you reduce your time with God. Rather, I would say increase your time with God. The time that you use in studying your Bible, that you spend praying, that you spend helping in the church, increase that. As you increase that, what other things do you spend your time on? What do you spend your time doing? you know um, this is not medically recommended. If it means reducing your sleep, that I mean, I say it's only for a period of time. So if you have set a goal of within the next 6 months, within the next 1 year, I want to be a certified business analyst. Is it possible? Very, very possible. You
Yeah.
know, so if you sleep 8 hours, take 2 hours out of your sleep, and put it into studying business analysis. If you spend time, relaxing and watching TV for the next 6 months, don't relax. You will not die by the grace of God. you know Spend the time to get yourself in the groove. That once you have the knowledge, once you have the certification, you can relax a little bit. I said a little bit because there's still more learning for you to do.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I mean, the initial one gets you in the door. Like, you can now beat your chest and say, by the grace of God, I have become a business analyst. I have become a project manager. Whatever
Yeah.
it is that you want to do, it's only a very short period of time in your life. So I guess what I'm just trying to emphasize here is reset your priorities. Look at where you have deficits, where you don't need to spend time. So it's just using your time wisely. That's what I'm saying.
What's your advice for companies who are asking for domain experience? For example, they're asking if you've worked in banking or insurance and you've never been in that domain. How do I? This question is really, how do I sell myself? Say they're asking for that domain experience, and for someone like you who has worked across over 10 domains, how can I sell myself saying I haven't worked in oil and gas, I haven't worked in manufacturing. However, Mr. Hiring Manager, I can do this.
I mean, I would say there are two levels here. First level is for your resume to do the job for you. For your resume to pass through that initial gate. So which means that you have to be able to relate, the experiences that you had with what they're asking for.
Exactly.
That again, being able to, like, I mean, I can't think of, but whatever they're asking for, that you're able to say that, yes, I understand what you're saying, and this is what I did. You know,
Yeah.
um, Oftentimes these days, it is computers that will pick out, resumes based on keywords. So you have to make sure that you have those keywords that they're asking for in your resume without lying. If you don't have the experience, please do not lie. It's a different thing to say that I aspire, to be able to do this. I am working on
Mhm.
developing these skills.
Yeah.
That's You can say that, but to claim that you have an experience where you don't, please don't do it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It probably doesn't, it doesn't belong to you. One, two, that there are organizations, that are able to, like, open the veil and see, beyond that curtain, and kind of like look behind and say, yes, this is relevant for us. The first thing is that you're able to relate your whatever experience you have with what they're asking for. Yes, some industries typically, they're very, hard and fast about, um, you must have worked in the industry.
Yeah.
That's in that case, I really don't know. Um, I don't know if but what I probably then would do is, if it is an industry that you really, 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 really would like to work in, that you can, instead of going for the big names, go for the smaller names.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so uh, I don't want to advertise any company, but I mean,
Yeah.
in every industry, there are always the big players,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always, like the ones that are coming up. I
Yeah.
mean, in oil and gas, in construction, in banking, and what have you. So in banking, for example, they're like the national banks that everybody, the national brands, and they're the community banks,
Yes. Credit
the
union.
credit union,
It is.
microfinance bank, as they call them in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so you can say head of operations, microfinance bank. I mean that is head of operations, credit union. So you have the banking, what's it called, so you don't stick to the big names, that you have to work with the very big names first. That gives you entry into that industry, one. And the second level is at the level of interview, that if you are able to scale the first level, I think at the second level, what they really want to see is, are you able to add value here? Would
Yeah.
you understand when people are, like using the terminologies that is specific to this industry? Would you understand it? Would you be able to, like, catch on very quickly, or are they going to spend time teaching you the basics of the industry? But once you can show that you have studied, you understand, the language that they speak. So it's, again, it goes back to your ability to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
And as a business analyst, as a project manager, that is a key skill that you require, your
Yeah.
ability to be able to communicate, what the issues are, so you have a clear understanding of their terminologies, and you can distill it, and you can speak. They will look at you and say, yes, this person has not worked in this industry before, but
Yeah.
guess what, there's no terminology that we throw around that he's looking lost.
Yeah.
This person is able to respond, and respond properly. So people just want to hear, something that they are used to, something
Yeah.
that they're sure you're not going to be lost when
Yeah.
you're in a meeting. If you can speak the language, it will take the grace of God for them not to give you the job.